The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach. To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I'm not a witness or a named witness in connection with any of Epstein's crimes. My name has never appeared in court documents, depositions, victim statements, or FBI in interviews surrounding the Epstein matter. I have never had any knowledge of Epstein abuse of his victims. I was never involved in any capacity. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth.
Hello friends, I just wanted to hop in here really quickly. I have been literally so busy, but I wanted to share this with you guys. Amanda's El País interview has come out, and I wanted to share it with you on here so you don't have to deal with like a paywall or the subscription. You can just read it. I'm about to get out of the way and you guys can just pause to read the whole article. I am incredibly proud of Amanda and her bravery, and I know that there's like things that were like taken out of this 3-hour interview that Amanda wanted to talk about, but thankfully she will have many opportunities to, because multiple mainstream media outlets have reached out wanting to interview her, including People Magazine, The Daily Beast, Courier News, and many others. And she's going to be sitting down and talking with a few of them just to answer questions that people might have and just shed light on the entirety of the situation. So keep your eyes peeled early in this next week, because Amanda's going mainstream, and I could not be more excited to see her have this kind of opportunity to sit down and open up about what happened to her, and then to be met with such a wave of support, and then more opportunities to talk to the media in a mainstream fashion, which we have been trying to make happen for nearly a year now. So I'm gonna get out of the way. You guys can pause to read this full article and just keep your eyes on. So this is a snapshot from a 1996 archive of a website called A Foreign Affair. As you can see, Melania is on this website, and she has her date of birth, her background, there's her photos from her modeling. I think she was like 17 in those photos. If you look down here, it says that the website is called A Foreign Affair, and this was copyright 1996. Foreign Affair is a real matchmaking, international dating, mail order bride company that exists, that is based in the United States, that was founded in 1995 and still operates to this day. And from the Internet Archive, this was 1996, the year after A Foreign Affair had already started. So Melania was on the website a year after it was founded. Like when I say they're still active and operating to this day, you can look at their social medias. They're actively still posting, showing off their happy couples, showing off the brides they have available. Like, this is weird. And like, I'm not being a hater on like international dating, but under these pretenses in this context, yeah, this is just like mail order bride stuff. International marriage broker, romance tour company, be for real. Just take a look-see at the countries in which they operate. All right. So yeah, we need to protect the Wayback Machine at all costs because the evidence is there. I know this isn't shocking, and I know that like these people lie intentionally and they lie by omission all the time, especially when they're talking about like their backgrounds. But it is pretty crazy that like there's evidence that she was a mail order bride, and Michael Wolff might just prove it in a court of law.
First Lady Melania Trump's bestie of 20 years, Amanda Ungaro, is unleashing holy hell on X, and with good reason. Here's how it started, and here's how it's going. Stick around. Let me tell you something. There is no place more dangerous in this world than the space between a mother and her child. And to quote Bob Dylan, when you got nothing to lose. So yesterday, the First Lady gave a desperate live statement from the White House Grand Foyer. She was visibly shaking as she denied her links to Jeffrey Epstein. Why out of the blue? Because Amanda Ungaro spent 20 years in Melania's inner circle. A woman who was even a UN ambassador is currently threatening to torch the entire administration from an iPhone in Brazil. Amanda Ungaro was there for it all. The Mar-a-Lago New Year's parties, the inauguration, the private UN galas. She was the partner of Paolo Zampolli, the man who literally introduced Donald Trump to Melania. They met when she was just a teenager and he was 32. But when the relationship went south after 2 decades, Zampolli didn't just call a lawyer for custody. He weaponized the full force of the federal government against the woman he called his wife for 19 years to win a custody battle over their American-born teenage son, Giovanni Zampolli. Paolo allegedly coordinated a hit with a high-ranking ICE official named David Venturella and his fellow Kennedy Center board member, Pam Bondi. The result, Amanda was arrested in Miami on a manufactured charge involving a single photo of her hand resting on a laser machine. She was held in ICE detention for 3 months, then deported to Brazil without trial. He kept his seat on the board next to Pam Bondi. He kept his title as presidential special envoy. But then he went too far. A Brazilian court ordered the child returned to his mother, and in total defiance of international law and a direct court order, Paolo Zampolli reportedly snatched the boy from Brazil and fled the country. Amanda has now filed a formal kidnapping complaint. She has nothing left to lose. Amanda is on X right now, posting at Melania saying, "I will take legal action against you and your PDF file husband." She says that she was put on the Jeffrey Epstein plane for the first time when she was 16 years old. Her agent back then? Jean-Luc Brunel, the same guy I mentioned in the Brett Ratner video, the man who co-ran Epstein's modeling agency and then offed himself in a French prison before he could testify. Sound familiar? Amanda says she has all the receipts, photos, physical abuse, proof of millions in insurance fraud, evidence of government bribery. My question is Amanda Ungaro's silence for sale, or will she choose justice over her own personal interest? She's telling the First Lady to shut her mouth because she's about to expose everyone. This isn't a custody battle anymore. It's a thermonuclear threat. So, do you think the truth is finally coming out, or do you think it's another nothing burger? Like, subscribe, and comment below.
We were kind of all hoping for a bombshell, right? Like, we were waiting for this video to come out so we could say, hey, this is it. It didn't really feel like that to me. So this is my breakdown of what she said. She said she flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane as a minor and saw other underage girls there, and that she later moved in social circles connected to Trump through her ex. But she didn't do what we were all hoping for. She did not provide proof or make direct accusations against Melania Trump or Donald Trump. So it's serious claims without a smoking gun. So I'm still sitting here thinking, why did Melania make that video? And if it was for this, she didn't really need to protect herself from it. So maybe there's something else coming. I guess we can hope.
If you want to know why Melania made that statement, you need to look up Amanda Ungaro. When you look up Amanda Ungaro, you will see that she is linked to someone who has been affiliated with Trump for a very long time. His name is Paolo. That's her baby daddy. Well, according to Amanda, her baby daddy asked them to deport her, and that pissed her off. And then she's been contacting Melania, spilling the beans about everything, and I mean everything. And yeah, it's all coming out, and that's the reason why she's trying to get ahead of it, I think. So it's going down. And when I say it's going down, this girl was heavily involved. And she knows a lot of shit. So hold on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen, because it's about to get crazy.
I know every video that I make about this topic is going to get suppressed, but I literally do not care because I think it's that important. There is something seriously wrong here that needs to be looked at. It is being completely overlooked that there is a man who is a part of our current administration who is in a long-term relationship and has a child with a model who he has been representing since she was a teenager, and also appeared on Jeffrey's flight logs when she was just 17 years old. I've already done an in-depth video, but I'm gonna give you the cliff notes so that you can understand why I believe that this is very alarming. So Paolo Zampolli, we've talked about him many times. He works in our current administration. He is on the board of the Kennedy Center. He has been a close friend and advisor and business partner to our sitting president since the 90s. He was the modeling agent who brought Melania to the United States to meet Donald Trump originally, and they would go on to be married. Right around the same time, in the mid to late 90s, both Paolo and Donald Trump would open their own modeling agencies. Both of their modeling agencies would go on to face claims and accusations of R-word, SA, theft of wages, overcrowded apartments where the models would be housed, exploitation, and visa fraud. Paolo is a United Nations diplomat. From 2013 to 2014, he collaborated with Ghislaine and Jeffrey's fake oceanic nonprofit environmental organization, Terramar, which allowed Jeffrey and Ghislaine to make further connections and gain credibility through working with the United Nations. Through his modeling agency, ID Models, he would go on to represent a Brazilian teenager named Amanda Ungaro, and that is the teenager who would appear on Jeffrey's flight logs back in 2002 when she was just 17 years old. Just a few years after Amanda appeared on Jeffrey's flight logs, Paolo would go on to date her, and they would have a child together, and she would go on to also become a United Nations ambassador, and they have been together romantically for nearly 20 years, minus a brief moment in 2018 when they did break up. Amanda tried to leave Paolo in 2018 during Trump's first term, but Paolo called in some favors and had her flagged through immigration so that she could not return to her home country with her son, and Paolo also refused to pay her any kind of child support if she were to leave him. After this, they rekindled their relationship despite repeated allegations of infidelity and SA that Paolo has engaged in while in their relationship. Most recently, in June of 2025, just a couple months back, right around the time when the files became a topic of conversation again, Amanda was arrested in Miami alongside a Brazilian doctor, and they were arrested for illegally operating a medical facility, grand theft, organized scheme to defraud, and illegally acquiring prescription medications to give their patients, as they were allegedly offering invasive cosmetic procedures without any kind of licensing. When she was arrested, Amanda was placed on an immigration hold and set to be deported, and that is the last thing that we have heard about Amanda Ungaro, the longtime partner of someone who is sitting in this current administration, longtime friends with the president, who appeared on Jeffrey's flight logs back in 2002, is just being deported. And the day after Amanda was taken into custody, Paolo Zampolli posted this photo of himself and Pam Bondi on his social media. No mention of Amanda at all. Amanda is no longer appearing in any of his photos afterwards. Like, since she's been arrested, there's been no photos with her whatsoever. There's been no seeming concern for Amanda at all. He's just been posting like everything's great, normal, happy even. And I'm not saying that Amanda didn't do anything wrong. Obviously, this is the United States. You're innocent until proven guilty. Obviously, she is on the fast track to being deported. And that doesn't make any sense from the standpoint that she is still a United Nations diplomat. She should have a diplomatic passport. She should have diplomatic immunity from arrest and prosecution of a lot of different charges. In a lot of situations, local authorities don't have the authority to disregard diplomatic privileges. It doesn't make any sense how the United States is actively deporting a United Nations diplomat and it's not being talked about at all in mainstream media. Regardless of the fact that she was on Jeffrey's plane at 17 years old, went on to have a child with the agent who is supposed to be representing her, who's 15 years her senior. Like, putting that aside because that's extremely relevant, but the fact that they're trying to deport a United Nations diplomat makes no sense at all. It doesn't make even a little bit of sense. I really hope that everyone is beginning to see the correlation between Donald Trump's modeling agency, Paolo Zampolli's modeling agency, John Casablancas' modeling agency, Jean-Luc Brunel's modeling agency, and how all of those men were friends of Jeffrey, and they all happily gave Jeffrey access to the droves of young girls and women that they had virtual ownership of. And we know for a fact that all of these men had very similar business models when it came to running modeling agencies. We know for a fact that one of the main ways that these men stacked their modeling agencies was via selling dreams to vulnerable young girls and young women, then illegally bringing them from overseas to the United States, where these young girls and young women would work for them. They would live in housing that they provided for them, which was typically overcrowded and run down. And these men would take up to 80% of these girls' wages, and these girls would be left at the mercy of them, not by their own choice, because they were guaranteed that their immigration would be all sorted out, but it never was. And before they knew it, they have nowhere to go. Obviously, this wasn't just happening internationally, this was happening domestically as well. But when it did happen internationally, and it did often, these girls would be put in terrible situations. A lot of these women and young girls would be required to attend events and parties to entertain the friends and associates of their bosses. Due to the nature of some of the accusations that have been levied against all of these men's modeling agencies, it's very safe to say that we all know what kind of operation this was. And right now, it's really starting to look like there's a lot of work being done behind the scenes to ensure that any victim is completely silenced, even if it means them being deported, when they hold the title of United Nations diplomat. I'm telling you guys, something is not right about this situation. And I know it's easy to judge Amanda because she's now, as a mugshot, she's arrested. I just feel like there's something more there. I'm not saying she's not guilty of those charges. I have no idea. I'm just saying there is absolutely something more to this situation. Okay, go to the next video because I found a story that aired on the news nearly 20 years ago about Paolo Zampolli and his close friend Donald Trump.
Well, I think we now know why Melania was randomly talking about Epstein yesterday, and it all goes down to Amanda Ungaro. Talk about the Streisand effect. They might want to rename it the Melania effect after this, because my God, this has exploded. Keep in mind, this is the former wife of Trump official Paolo Zampolli, who used his connections to the Trump administration to get Amanda deported while they were in the midst of a custody battle. And she says, "We'll take legal action against you and your PDF file husband. I have known you for 20 years. You knew I was detained in ICE. You were present in my life every year on my son's birthday, even sending Secret Service and being the first to congratulate him back in 2016. Something was clearly wrong, but I am not a part of any evil mission involving children. So what did you do, Melania? You tried to involve me, but you failed because I have character. I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I am not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know of who you are and who your husband is." And she mentions Pam Bondi. Are you already aware of the situation? Do you fully understand the extent of the information I possess regarding you and the individuals associated with you? I strongly advise you to consider the seriousness of these matters. Any actions taken against me or attempts to escalate this situation could have significant legal consequences. I expect this to be handled with the appropriate level of responsibility and professionalism moving forward. She's also resharing all kinds of shit like this. In a nasty divorce, Zampolli allegedly had Trump use ICE to deport his ex-wife, Amanda Ungaro. Amanda is now set to do an interview this weekend and tell all about Melania, Epstein, Trump, and Zampolli. Goddamn. So I imagine we're going to hear the name Amanda Ungaro quite a bit in the coming days. And Melania drove everybody's attention straight to it. Tell us, we need the...
You know, the sad part is Melania Trump be walking around with her I don't care jackets and attitudes as if she's something special. And it's like, girl, you not the birthday gift. You're the victim. This is part 2. Let's keep chatting. We are talking about why Melania Trump did this press conference yesterday that White House officials did not know about and that nobody asked for. And there are a lot of theories floating around. People are on the internet saying that this is her I gotta put me first Lucius moment. This is her saying, hey, Trump, I'm trying to get up out of here. Some people are saying that demented Donnie really doesn't have long, right? He disappeared over the Easter weekend and the doctors told him, your time's almost up, Jack. And so now Melania is distancing herself. What are words and why do we use them? But the theory that seems to make the most sense to me is that Amanda Ungaro has her foot on Melania Trump's neck. We left off at the tweets. Let's keep going. Amanda wants us all to know that Trump is a pedophile. That's something we know, but some of y'all still chose to vote him into office, and I don't know how we made that distinction, but that's not the point. He also wants us to know that her and Melania actually know each other. She is basically saying, don't let Melania distance herself from me or even Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. As in this tweet, I will take legal action against you and your pedophile husband. I have known you for 20 years. You knew I was detained by ICE. You were present in my life every year on my son's birthday, even sending Secret Service and being the first to congratulate him back in 2016. Something was clearly wrong, and I am not a part of any evil mission involving children. So what did you do, Melania? You tried to involve me, but you failed because I have character. My goodness, on today. He then goes on to ask Melania, do you want to know what I think of you after 20 years? Because again, we know each other despite whatever picture you're trying to paint. And if Amanda wasn't done directly tweeting Melania Trump, the first lady, she turns her sights to Pam Bondi. This at her directly and says, Pam Bondi, are you already aware of the situation? Do you fully understand the extent of information I possess regarding you and the individuals associated with you? I strongly advise you consider the seriousness of these matters. Any actions taken against me or attempts to escalate this situation could have significant legal consequences. She ends it with, I expect this to be handled with the appropriate level of responsibility and professionalism moving forward. And then she attaches 4 photos. Oh my God, what do y'all think? Do you think this is really Amanda Ungaro? Do you think the house is finally crumbling?
Melania Trump held a surprise press conference yesterday, and nobody could figure out exactly why. Now we know. A woman who said she's known Melania for 20 years just got deported by ICE, and now she is threatening to tell everything she knows about Epstein, Trump, and the First Lady. I'm Major League, and I'll give you 3 things about it.
To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell.
Thing number 1. A woman named Amanda Ungaro posted on X claiming she has known Melania Trump for 20 years, not casually. She says that Melania showed up every year at her house for her son's birthday. That is a close personal relationship. Ungaro was reportedly in the middle of a messy custody dispute with her ex, Paolo Zampolli. Zampolli credits himself with introducing Trump to Melania. Zampolli reportedly used his connections to the Trump family to have ICE detain and deport Ungaro. But she is not going quietly. Yesterday, she jumped in Melania Trump's comment section on X and said this, I will tear down your corrupt system even if it's the last thing I do in my life. I will go all the way. I am not afraid. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know, of who you are and who your husband is. Thing number 2. Initially, Melania's press conference felt random and out of nowhere. Now, it suddenly makes a whole mess of sense. A woman with 20 years of personal access to the Trumps is saying she knows what your husband did and got deported right before she could say it. Now, that press conference looks like damage control. Saying I will tear down your corrupt system, even if it's the last thing I do, sounds like someone who feels like they were used and silenced and they are done being quiet. Thing number 3, we have already seen the DOJ strip 50 pages of FBI records tied to Trump and Epstein from a legally mandated archive. We have an ex-attorney general facing contempt of Congress charges for allegedly covering up evidence of the president's sexual assault history. And now a woman they deported is claiming to have been in Melania's inner circle for 2 decades, is pissed and ready to talk. This administration is using every tool at its disposal and the full weight of the federal government to shield the pedophile in chief from accountability. But I want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments and follow Major League TV on all platforms. And if you want to support my content directly, click the link in my bio.
I wanted to start this video by saying this is possibly, but a really good chance. Amanda Ungaro is going to be speaking to CNN on Monday. That's from the information that I found. Let me know if anybody finds anything different, but this story is kind of getting a little bit of traction. None of this would have been a deal if Melania Trump did not address the American people and the nation. I'm an American person. We are now invested and we're taking notes. Amanda has been very active on X, and Amanda has kind of like a spokesperson that is tweeting. Not only is she making tweets towards Melania, like to Melania directly, but then there's another source who is close to Amanda Ungaro and on X is kind of posting the information that they know and how she wants to and speak about the things that she knows that Melania is directly connected to Epstein and what Melania knew. What did you know? And that you were complicit in. So Amanda Ungaro, who came over here by her agent, Jean Brunel, who got arrested for giving girls to Jeffrey Epstein, goes to jail and is no longer with us. From jail, like no longer with us. So the people who are here, you know, we're kind of just like, what information do you know? And why didn't she go before and say all this information? Because people are no longer with us left and right who are connected to this story. Also have to keep in mind that we're talking about some of the most powerful men connected to the Epstein files and the most rich men connected to Jeffrey Epstein. One of them is our sitting president, and one of them is the first lady. I'm not saying she did anything, she was a victim. Like we had not heard anything about Melania until she went to the podium. So we are doing our research. People are questioning, well, why is she coming out now? Because she got deported and because she can't see her son. Any mother would do that. I would. Shoot. Her mom has also filed an emergency custody for the child. Her mom's name is Tanya. So Tanya filed an emergency custody after her daughter gets deported. The day before Amanda Ungaro gets arrested, she had filed for child support. So there was like financial reasons why he wanted her out of this country as well. We all know that some men, once you start saying, I want child support, they lose their minds. So Melania was privy to all of this, and Amanda Ungaro and Melania were friends. And yes, she's ready to sing like a canary. And from my sources, Monday on CNN.
You want to re-traumatize us and ask us to go in front of Congress and tell them our story, which we've had told some of them already, and then do absolutely nothing. That sounds like a shitty idea. You're just trying to shift attention from something to something else.
Do you stand with the survivors or the Trump family when the survivors say this?
Hello, Melania Trump. My name is Juliet Bryant. I'm an Epstein survivor. You want girls to testify under oath. Well, here I am testifying that everything I've said is true. Unfortunately, a lot of the girls who testified died. Maybe it's about time that you and your husband testified too. Thank you.
So hello guys, welcome back to another video guys. Sorry if you're new to the channel, welcome back. Okay, so what we do is we talk on matters, trending topics and everything, and we also share our opinions on it. And guys, of course, here we are again with another video. Guys, when Melania Trump came out of nowhere and did a press conference, someone says an imprinted press conference, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, Melania is doing a press conference. Like, my days, guys, I don't know why there's just an outburst of noise right now, guys. I do live in the motorway. So when she came outside to do her imprinted press conference, I was like, wait a minute, what's she doing? So guys, of course, as you know it, she's just come outside, she's doing her imprinted press conference, and she came and was talking about different Epstein and this and everything. And I'm like, why is she talking about Jeffrey Epstein? What is this outburst of Jeffrey, like Esprint? Is it Esprint? It's Epstein, not Esprint. Jeffrey Epstein. I was like, why is she talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Like, girl, I mean, I can't remember the last time she gave an imprint to Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not an imprint to Jeffrey Epstein. What am I talking about, guys? I'm a little bit not there. I can't remember the last time she gave an impromptu press conference, and it's quite crazy that she just came outside to give it. But guys, come to find out, she's got this friend of the name, is it Amanda and Ungaro? What's the name again, guys? I've just forgotten. Damn. Okay, the name Amanda Ungaro. So guys, they have been friends for the past 20 years. They have been friends for the past 20 years. And tell me why they said she had a child with a baby daddy of hers for whom she's been with for about, let's say, 19 to 20 years, and that they have not legally been married. I don't know the conversation surrounding their matrimony, but looks like, I don't know. No, it might appear, people say it might appear to be that she didn't marry him legally, but they've been together 20 years. Some sort of like, maybe is it a customary marriage? So now they're separating, and of course, when it comes to separation, now you start to see a side of your partner that you can't see. So because he's got affiliations with Trump, of course they are friends, they are buddies, they drink beer together, they play everything they want to do together. Think of what you do with your best friend is what he does with Trump. So they said she's been living with him for 19 years, and so in some sort of thing, she was detained by ICE. So you want to tell me, how can someone be suddenly detained by ICE? Because she's been living and, let's say, frolicking with Trump, who has been president before. So how come she is being detained by ICE? Because of course when someone is detained by ICE, it has to do with the citizenship of the person. So how come she's been detained by ICE and people do not know it? And guys, what on the street is, how they came to know each other was because both of them may be male or the brides. Guys, I'm so sorry, there's a lot of airplane noise around me, but we'll continue. So the word on the street was both of them are male or the brides, and the conversation surrounding how Trump met Melania, this and that, of course, it has always been sketchy. It has been always sketchy. I mean, she's not the first to have been like me or the bride. I think when it comes to celebrities, how they describe how they first met each other, guys, I don't trust them, I don't believe them, I don't believe anything that comes out from their mouth, because it's just lies, pure lies, and nothing, even a dime of the flipping truth. Because it happened, like, do you remember, like, for example, this name is out of the blue, Cristiano Ronaldo, when he was describing how he met, I've forgotten her name, I don't know what her name is, I've forgotten her name, is it Vanessa, or is it, what's the name of Ronaldo's wife, because now he's married to her, isn't it? Georgina. When he met Georgina, it was on a Gucci shop. People are saying that it was on a nightclub, when he was in a nightclub where they were actually smoking. Yes, that's what people are saying. It's in a nightclub where he was smoking opium. You know, which is kind of crazy. So what should we believe? What should we properly believe? Like, where did they meet each other? Like, what should we believe is what we should be asking ourselves. What should we believe? Like, what are we allowed to believe? What are we allowed to believe? What are we allowed to believe? Yeah, what are we allowed to believe? It's crazy to me. It's fucking crazy to me, because like, it's one thing or the other, or another thing or the other. Because like, what is it? Where did you meet? Or what? Like, it's crazy. Like, because right now she's saying she's planning to expose Melania and Donald Trump, and calling Donald Trump pedophile and all those things. So I don't know, guys. Please give a thing in the comment section. And guys, there's one thing I want to talk about before I leave. Recently, Ivanka Trump went on the Diary of a CEO to talk about how they are so this and that in their family, how their father was very present. Guys, the relationship between Ivanka Trump and her dad is something that I'm not going to sleep on. But the things I saw two people say, oh my God, she's so stoic, she's so poised, she's so this, she's so that, she's this, she's that. I'm like, girl, please. Girl, please. There's nothing stoic about her. There's nothing stoic about someone that is working for a party that is genocidal. There's nothing stoic about anybody. The fact that people might speak eloquently does not mean they are good people. And because someone speaks eloquently, people really hold it to very high esteem. People hold it to very high esteem. And I look at them and say, oh, what an idiot. What a bunch of idiots. So guys, I'm just going to end here. And guys, even that Diary of a CEO, guys, it's a full-blown red pill conservative platform. There's nothing you can tell me. There's nothing you can tell me. I've made video about the Diary of a CEO and how it is. But do you know what? I'm not going to say anything again, because everyone has the right to do what they want to do with their platform. They have the right to do what they want to do with their platform, and people are going to do what the fucking what they want to do with their platform. Anybody that does not see it is their cup of tea. Is their cup of tea. Bye, guys.